Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. Karibuni sana. This is Empower Academy. We are so excited to have you all join us. I see already there are a couple of people in the room. Let's check it out. So we have Lucas, we have Wilfred, we have Flaviana, we have Agnes Senga. Um, Interesting. So Karibuni Sana, we also have Sami and other people. So my name is Nancy Mbogoro. I am Senior Coordinator Engagement here at Empower Limited, and I have my colleague here, partner in crime.
Yep. My name is Sued Sami. I'm Senior Coordinator Advisory. Welcome.
Sawa. I know you can already see your screen and you know who the guest is, but we're not going to let him speak right now. We're just going to give a few minutes for more people to join us. Karibuni, let me see who else has just joined. Okay. We still have the same people. So as we wait for more people to join, just type in the chat box. I'm sure I believe you're familiar with how to use Teams. So just go into the chat box. There is like a chat icon somewhere at the top or bottom of your screen. And then just type how you're feeling this morning, okay? Yep. Tell us how you're feeling. I personally am feeling tired. You can hear it from my voice. But I said I must come here and, share and, moderate this important event for the young people, for us to learn, to grow from, Absolutely. From the best. But I feel great. I'm so excited to be here. I know Reuben has has prepared a lot for us, and Yep. It's going to be an interesting discussion. Yeah. How are you feeling, Swed?
Well, for me, I am feeling great. Feeling grateful.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a good weekend.
It is?
Yeah, it is a good weekend. And yeah, I really wanted to be part of this because I am a content creator myself.
Nice.
And I really want to just get the needs and beats of marketing.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the people who are in the call right now also as excited as I am to get to hear from our guests today.
Absolutely. I'm going to give Reuben a golden chance. Reuben, how are you feeling?
I am good, excited, apprehensive, a lot of feelings, but the topmost feeling is excited and grateful to be here.
Nice. Okay. So we have who is this? Luca, how are you feeling? Can you type in the chat box? Guys, no one is typing in the chat box. Let us know how you're feeling. Let us know how you're feeling. Let me type in the chat box. I said I am feeling tired, but great. And excited. Nice. Agnes says it's a beautiful morning. It absolutely is. Indeed,
It is.
It looks like a beach day. One of those days you could go to the beach, right?
I know, right?
Yeah. All right. We have 5 minutes gone. We're still waiting for more people to join us. We want as many people to, be into this discussion, to join us. Wilfred Magoti says, feeling excited, here to support and listen to King's poor knowledge. Thank you.
Wow. It's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
He sounds as excited as I am.
He is,
Which is good.
He is.
Okay, we have more people. I think Anna is typing. Let's see what Anna has to say. Sami, Fabiana, please go ahead. Don't feel shy. Chat on the chat box. Let us know how you're feeling this weekend ahead of our awesome space. Yeah, Lucas is saying, I'm feeling great and energetic with a smiley face. Nice, Lucas. Nice.
Eric Doss is also typing. That is great. Yeah. All right. So, welcome, Karibuni Sana. We are so excited. If you've joined Empower Academy before, I'm sure you know how we do things around here. We do not like to start anything before making you feel energized.
Exactly.
We want to tease your brain so that whatever information you're going to receive today becomes, sinks in your brain and you're able to utilize or make the most of it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, tell us how you're feeling in the chat box. Of course, we want to know how you're feeling. How is the mood in the room? But are they ready for this energizer? Do you think they're ready?
Yeah, I think they're ready. I'm gonna take you through one amazing energizer today to kick off our morning. Yeah, and I would request for the people who are out there, when you're doing this energizer, just get into the feel and be active. Get into the chat box. Tell us your responses in regards to the energizer.
Absolutely. It's like a mental exercise. You're in the gym. Your brain is now, lifting some weights right now.
Yes. We have very, 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 very good content coming today. So you need to prepare your mind. You need to create the spark.
Absolutely.
Before we do this. Yeah.
Okay. I hope we're all ready.
Yes.
So here is the energizer. Guys, I hope you're following. There'll be instructions. I hope you can all see my screen. So the instructions are very simple. The first instruction is choose a color. We can see there's color red, color yellow, color there's green. Yes, green, blue, and there's a shade of brown down there. All right. Sawa. So answer the questions per the color you've selected. I'm just gonna bring that back to this slide. There's red.
Maybe we can go back to the chat box and people can tell us which color they've selected quickly.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. We had more comments here. Okay, great. Ramadhan, if more people are also joining, Sawa, it's great to have you in the room. So Eric has chosen color blue.
Yes.
Joshua has chosen color yellow. Wilfred has chosen color blue. Okay, great. So keep choosing your colors. There's red, there's yellow, there is blue, there is green, and there's brown. Okay.
Great.
Not down your color. All right, because this is going to be the next question will be determined by the color you've chosen. All right, Sawa, answer the question by the color you've selected. You will have 10 seconds to answer the following questions. So your answer, you need to be sharp and really utilize the 10 seconds to type in the chat box, the answer to the question according to the color you've selected. Are you guys ready?
Yes, I am ready.
You're ready.
Yes.
I am ready.
Let's go.
So the first color is red. The question is, if you magically had 2 more hours every day, how would you spend the extra time?
Wow.
If you chose color red, please type in your answer on the chat box.
2 more hours
every
day.
Imagine that.
26 hours a day.
Imagine that.
What would you do with those 2 extra hours? Let us know. We want to know. Who's color red? I think someone picked red.
Yeah.
Flaviana.
Let's see. Red for me. Flaviana, what would you do with the extra time?
Yes.
All right. Lamek Machumi says reading. That is good. Somebody else says spend time with my kids. That is good. Lucas also says reading. Okay. That's good. Flaviana says I don't need extra time.
24 hours are more than enough.
24 hours are more than enough. Fair enough. Great.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
I think we have some good ones.
All right. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
The next color is yellow. And the question is, if I were an animal, I would be ... and why? Yes. So you need to vision yourself as an animal. So what animal would you be and why choose that animal?
Absolutely.
Those who selected color yellow, Josh, this is for you.
I feel like I have an answer for this.
Yeah?
I feel like I would be a panda.
You'd be a panda?
A panda, yeah. I think a panda is like my spirit animal.
Yeah? Why panda though? Like Kung Fu and stuff?
Very lazy, laid back. I'm not lazy and laid back, by the way. I'm just saying, like panda would be my go-to. Absolutely.
That is great. So Joshua says he would be a monkey. Why? Because you can eat and play all day. Awesome.
Nice.
I would be a flamingo.
Flamingo.
Stand out, unique, elegant.
Okay. I see. Yeah, by the way, I think even the other people who might be interested with answering the question can just jot in.
Yeah.
So that we have a very diverse kind of conversation.
Absolutely. The next color is green. Name something that happened in the last 90 days that you are proud of. So if you selected color green, please tell us then something that happened in the last 90 days. 90 days is like 3 months ago.
Yeah, 3 months ago.
Yeah. And tell us something that happened in the last 3 months that you're really proud of.
Okay.
Here's your chance.
Nice.
Anyone?
Okay. Lucas still wants to be an eagle. We get that, Lucas. Thank you so much for that.
Ruben, what color did you choose?
I did red and blue.
You did red and blue. Okay.
Yeah.
But we didn't see your answer for red. What would you do with the extra time?
I would spend time with my kids.
Spend time with your kids. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Who chose color green? Okay, you tell us. What did you do in the last 3 months?
Last 3 months. Actually, the highlight of the last 3 months was joining Empower.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far I'm loving it.
You're loving
Very
it.
proud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't remember. Let's just move on.
Okay.
All right. The next color is orange. Summarize your childhood in 3 words.
Wow.
Summarize childhood.
Ruben, summarize your childhood in 3 words. This is for you.
I can't even start. Happy go lucky.
Happy go lucky.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I would say that.
He's typing in the chat box.
Yeah. For me, I would say my childhood. A child.
I would say dreamy. I was
dreamy,
very dreamy.
dreamy.
Like when I was a kid,
Disney princess.
Like I was just all over the place. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, one day I would want to be a mountain bike rider, and the next I'd want to be a teacher. And
yeah.
I was all over the place.
Lamek says elapsed very quickly. Probably he doesn't remember his childhood. It elapsed very quickly. Nice, 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 nice. All right, we're wrapping this up. Before we give Reuben a chance to present to us what he's prepared. Those who chose color blue, what was the best meal you've ever made? Not you've had, not the meal you've had, the meal you've ever made.
Ooh, interesting. 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 Chips Mayai by Eric Doss. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We're going back there. Let's see the comments.
Honey glazed chicken wings.
Woo! Okay, Wilfred, I will need that recipe, please. Chips Mayai by.
He sounds like a pro. You know someone is a pro just by the name of how they describe it.
Yeah, we have somebody else say ugali wa dona, mchicha na sato wa kukaanga. Okay.
Nice. Interesting. Ugali daga.
Mushroom soup. Lucas.
Ugali daga is very simple, but it hits very differently. You know?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Joshua says the eggs I'm cooking right now, you better not burn them.
Nice.
Okay. All right. We are wrapping up. So guys, thank you so much. Congratulations. I hope you've been energized. Your brain is teased enough now to receive this information that Reuben has prepared for us. Today, we're talking about traditional marketing in the digital era. We'll get to know, I think Reuben has prepared. He's going to break it down for those who are hearing this concept for the first time. What does it mean when we say traditional marketing and in this digital era? But also, are there like digital marketing skills that have now emerged since we're now, sailing into this digital wave? So I'm sure there's a lot to learn. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. We're excited. I hope you have your notebook and pen beside you to write down any interesting notes. But also, as we go into this discussion, it's very interactive and engaging. Feel free to drop your comments and ask questions. There is a question box there. You can even write your question in the chat box, and we are happy to take them and discuss. The goal is to learn together and grow and, grasp as much as we can. All right? All right. I am signing out from my Energizer. So this is back to you now, Reuben. To take us through this. Yes.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Thank you, everyone, for taking your time to be here. Let me do the needful, cover my face, because, some of us have a face for radio. I will walk you through what we are calling traditional marketing in the digital era, and what I'm about to share are my humble 2 cents. It is not the Bible. It is not a definitive encyclopedia of what can be, what should be, what was. It is just observation of someone like yourself. So please feel free to jump in and share your experiences, share the little that you know, because by sharing kidogo kidogo, we get to kusaidiana kuelewa hiki kitu. So I'll start by saying, well, wow, technology, man. So my name is Reuben Ndege. As you can see me in this little picture here, and that's why I shared my screen, because now I started off here and ended up what you are seeing before I covered the screen. I knew very little in this picture. I think I was 2 years old. This was taken in Arusha. I will not say the year, because we're in the digital era. We don't tell each other when we were born. We just continue living eternally. But after, yes?
Saying, but we can assume, since we're in the digital era, everything is predictions now.
Yes, look at the shoes, then you can assume when this was. This was when you go and they draw your foot and they make you a shoe. But after Bachelor of Arts in Creative and Performing Arts, with a minor in TV, radio, and film production, and 8 + 7 years in media and advertising, what I'm about to share with you is the little that I know about traditional marketing. Okay, so before we go any further, it will be prudent for us to circle back and just talk about what is marketing actually. Marketing, for those who know and for those who don't know, is the process of getting people interested in your company's product or service. In fact, the fundamental purpose of marketing is to attract consumers to your brand through messaging. We have consumers, attracting, messaging. Those are the key things that do not change, regardless of what channels you're using. Those things do not change. This happens by understanding your consumers. You have to do some market research. You have to analyze the data that you get. You have to understand your ideal customers and their interests, and then you choose what channels to reach your customers. Therefore, going through that process, when you get to the point of deciding what channels, that's when now we start having traditional or digital marketing. But having said that, in a nutshell, if we were to look at traditional and digital marketing, we've already identified what marketing is getting consumers to gravitate towards your brand, either love it or make a purchase, and you have an inherent message that you're sending to your customers. So traditional marketing refers to any marketing idea that enables you to grow your business offline. We've all been exposed to this type of marketing, and many people are familiar with this concept. We are talking about print media. Here I'm talking about newspapers, magazines, newsletters, brochures, and other printed materials. We're also talking about broadcast media, such as TV and radio ads. We are talking about direct mail, which includes flyers, postcards, catalogs, and also telemarketing. On the other end, digital media or digital marketing at a high level refers to advertising that is delivered through digital channels, such as websites. You have social networking sites, you have content marketing, you have banner ads, you have Google ads, you have video marketing. And when you look at these two, you find that on traditional marketing, you have proven techniques with high success rate. For those who use them, at the time that they were being used, they viewed that traditional marketing gives you proven techniques with high success rate, long-standing initiatives that the public already understand. People know billboards, people know posters, people know print ads, and the metrics for measuring success at that time, people felt that they can measure success on traditional media. When you come to digital media, cost-efficient method of marketing, because right now you can be very granular with your communication and know exactly who you're talking to, when to talk to them, and when to trigger them to have a conversation with your brand. We have unprecedented audience reach. Before, we used to know if you're advertising in a radio in Mbeya, you're just talking to the people in Mbeya. Right now, someone in Mbeya can place an ad and someone in Bulawayo can see that ad. And it allows for direct response from intended audience. And this has made a lot of brands are scared of digital marketing because of that. There is direct response from intended audience. Before, I would place an ad on newspapers. If I don't put a number for you to call, we are not having a conversation. I assume that I've placed an ad we are better than the rest. And even if people have opinions against that, I'll never get to hear it. But now in the digital space that we're in, there's a lot of direct response from intended audience. So if I look at it in a nutshell, the differences, major differences, before I go deeply into the pros and cons of each, is that digital marketing is cost effective. You get a large number of audience. You get a large number of audience, but on the same note, you can narrow it down and get a very niche audience. I could talk to the whole of Tanzania, or I could decide to just place an ad and geo-target it to just people in Masaki. There's a variety of sources in terms of the channels that you can put out the messaging. There's a very high conversion rate because now you're reading data, you're analyzing data, and you're sending the messaging to the consumer that needs to see the messaging. You have measurable results, and there's immediate communication. And since we say if you're doing communication, is a two-way thing. So digital allows you to have more of a two-way communication with your consumer. And by having that communication, you're constantly tweaking your messaging. You're constantly changing your offering. If I go out on a Sunday and say, buy one and get one free, and on a Monday, I realize I only had one person, and if I reach out to that one person and ask, well, what happened? And they're like, yeah, you posted the ad at 12 midnight. There's no one seeing it. It means I talk to my social media manager, we tweak, we schedule the ads, and we tweak and place the ads at a time where we know people are consuming content online. On the other hand, traditional marketing, for those who know, it's a bit taxing in the pockets. Billboards are cheaper now because we went through a slump, but billboards are expensive. Radio, depending on the rating that a radio station has, is quite steep as compared to digital marketing. You're looking at non-versatility in terms of what a channel does is what a channel does. There's no add-ons to that channel. If it's a poster, it's a poster. It doesn't do more than what it's supposed to do unless you start integrating, which we'll talk about later in the presentation. There is very low conversion rates. Sometimes you're not very sure what the print ad is doing for your campaign. Sometimes you're not very sure. Yes, I've placed an ad on a radio station that is national. Are people really listening? As much as the radio station tells you you have 7 million people, are they really listening? And we'll find out later in the presentation what things can be done to make sure both of these marketing initiatives are 100% efficient. Results cannot be measured, then there's delayed communication. But for me, the major differences that I see between the two is the medium between digital marketing and traditional marketing. The major difference is the medium through which the customer is exposed to the brand message. That's what defines the two. One is traditional, offline. The other one is digital, using devices or digital platforms. Then I also think the major difference between the two is how deep and thorough the data collected and how you have an ease of measuring effectiveness. That's what defines these two. The data collected in digital is it's so deep that there are times as you go online, I think I've been talking about this in my life, when you decide to start talking about we want to go on a holiday. Funny enough, when you go on Google, you start seeing holiday ads appearing. So we already know there's listening, there's machine listening, that the phones that we carry around probably already had that conversation. Then you just find when you go online, you start seeing Maldives, something popping up, Dubai, or when you go to a website and you're looking for ticket sales, immediately after that, when you go to Instagram, you start seeing part of the sponsored ads are hotel ads popping up. So that is the difference of data collected and how efficiently the data is used on the digital end. Yes, on the traditional end, we did have data collection where people would send questionnaires, people would send emailers, and you answer and send back. But efficiency and turnaround time is greater with the digital marketing as opposed to traditional marketing. Now that we've overall looked at what is digital marketing, what is traditional marketing, what channels are going through, allow me to dive deeper and look at the pros and cons of each of these initiatives before we go to finding out, do they work together? Is one suffering? Should one be losing it? Or what can we do in the future? So with traditional marketing, as I've said, it's very, very impactful in a sense of if you're looking for big brand feel. I'll give you a case in point. If you drive to town and you get to where the current NMB head offices are, zamani ilikuwa nyumba ya sanaa, there's a very big Coca-Cola bottle that fills up. Well, you can replicate that on your phone, and they have done it in other countries where you shake the bottle and it fills up. But seeing that iconic big brand feel is what billboards do. A visual billboard or a striking TV commercial is a normal part of most of people's, most of our day parts, and it's easy to digest and often very entertaining. And when it's taken from the phone screen and put on a 65-inch or whatever screens you have at home, if you have a 40-inch, well and good, it's bigger than your mobile phone. There is a certain impactful way that the ads play out. And another thing is printed material is very permanent. They are more permanent than your FB posts, as much as, yeah, you can archive. But right now you might go somewhere, ufungiwe vitumbua, gazeti fulani la mwaka fulani, ambalo lina tangazo la bidhaa fulani. Until the material is recycled, it's still existing. Okay? So it's great for consumers also who are avid collectors. As much as we say magazines are dead, or the numbers show that year on year readership is declining with print editions, there are people who are collectors. I remember there was a time when it was trendy to collect GQ and Men's Health. I made sure I get every copy. In as much as right now no one is buying GQ, people are reading on their phones, but I at times go into my archives and just pull the magazines. Now, if I'm doing, let's say, something for tourism, I would want to do a print, whether it's a coffee book, whether it's a hardcover, but I will do something that I know it's a collector's item and people can keep for a long period of time. Now, also, one more thing is print, the pro is, traditional marketing is more memorable. There is something about seeing an ad out there as opposed to just seeing it on your phone. The anticipation of seeing a new campaign, the anticipation of sitting over dinner and there's an ad playing on TV. And there was a point in time before we got really tired of advertising, we were actually looking forward to the commercial breaks. If I say, hebu jitokeze, simama, imara, mbele za watu, those were ads that we knew from way back and people were singing. So is it that the advertising has gotten lazier, less impactful, or is it that we've been exposed to too much advertising now that for you to cut across, you need to be really, 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 really appealing? So there's something more likely to stay in your mind, seeing something on TV, seeing something on a billboard, as opposed to just seeing an Instagram ad that you see probably and scroll past in 2 seconds. That said, you have a question?
I wanted to add something to what you're saying, Reuben, concerning how impactful, traditional marketing is. Just think of how many things we believe just because we've seen them on TV or heard them on radio, and if I think in the traditional way today, as one of the marketing techniques, I think radio stations and TV stations, during when they're airing programs, they have something called presenter mention. So if you can get product or your service to be mentioned by the presenter or the anchor of the program, that thing is more likely to have more impact, that service, and for people to believe it and to want to try it, to want to use it, than an ad that you've just seen on social media. So I think I just wanted to emphasize on how traditional marketing is very impactful, although it looks like digital marketing is winning right now because it's everywhere on our phones, on our websites, and everywhere. But yeah, I think traditional marketing still has a very strong impact in the minds of people.
Exactly. And if you go back, you circle back, the places where traditional media or the places where we were encountering advertising were places where we believe that the authority, they have the authority in terms of information. If I hear an ad on Radio X, and I know either it's government owned or it's the number one radio, and you know there is the TCRA, so you know there's no way they'll put something that's a lie.
Yeah.
Right now we are caught in a space where a lot of things you see, even I might see something on IG, I'll check with someone like, yo, I've seen this page. Are they legit? Have you ever bought anything? Can you send me a picture? Because I think you've seen that meme where there's what they promised and what they delivered.
And what they deliver, very true.
Yeah. So
Very true.
Constant feeling of, oh wow, I hope I don't get duped. And we'll see later in the presentation how to mitigate that and make a holistic 360 approach. Some of the cons about using traditional marketing is it's very hard to measure. There are ways to measure traditional campaigns, such as brand trackers, but for the experience that I've had in the 7-8 years that I was doing advertising, is that the brand tracker might come after 3 months of the campaign being out there. Then 3 months of investing heavily on out of home, you've invested heavily on BTL, you've invested on radio, you've invested on TV, and this is not cheap. You have your marketing budget, say, of 800 million. Then later, when the brand tracker comes, there are a few levers that if you had tweaked, you'd have had a successful campaign. But this comes after the fact. So I've worked with brands that do extensive testing before they get into the market, where you taste the concept itself, the product, the offering that you're trying to offer to your consumers. They give you feedback, you rework the product, you test it again until you get a definite go. Then you present it to agency. Agency comes with various communication strategies. You take the communication strategy, you go test it again. You test it against your core audience, then you test it against competition audience. By the time you come back to agency and pick a direction, a communication strategy, you're almost 80% sure that the route you're taking will work. Then we do the creatives. The creatives are taken again, they're tested. By the time we come to the final script for radio, for TV, the final copy, we are sure that the consumer of that brand plus consumers from competition are already aligned with the product offering. They're already aligned with the benefit. They're aligned with the communication that we're taking out. Now, I've realized on the brands that I worked on that did that, the success level of the campaigns and their products was higher than brands that just would go and wait for a brand tracker to come after 3-4 months. And yes, you can speed it up. You can speed it up. You can do your phone interviews. You can get on sites that do daily recall. There are matrices to do that, but it's not as efficient and as fast as when you do digital marketing. Then often it's expensive. I think everyone knows that. If you want to be on primetime TV, if you get the #1 highly rated news show right now and you want to be there, you are told there's a backlog of people waiting to be on, because everyone knows the impact of being on that space and everyone wants that space. So supply and demand, the prices go up. When you're doing billboards in key locations, if you're network, you want to be the first thing people see when they leave the airport because they're coming to your country. You want the trolleys at the airport. So there is a lot of, you want to get it. So now I can say, no, I'm selling it for 100. Someone says, no, get them out, I'll pay 500. So there's an expense. And if you're a brand that's just coming up, chances are you don't have those big budgets to fund a whole 4-page spread in a newspaper, to be on primetime TV, to be on primetime radio. So it will set you back a considerable amount using traditional marketing. There are other initiatives that you can do that might seem archaic in terms of roadshows, in terms of PAs, in terms of flyers, but still considerably. If I take $100 on digital marketing vis-a-vis $100 on traditional marketing, the returns are extremely, the gap is extremely big. Then there's no direct interaction with the consumer. We listen to a radio ad, unless they tell you a number, that's that. I've listened, if you caught it in the middle, it's gone. You have to either wait for the next commercial break or hopefully catch it at some time. But if I'm on digital marketing, the ad is there. If I want to screen grab, I screen grab, I watch it later. If I want to download, I'll watch it later. I'll ask someone, oh, by the way, I was on this page and I saw XYZ. Have you seen it? Someone will always share. And constantly on most pages, you find someone, namba yangu hiyo hapo nitumie. If you have an ad playing, someone places their number. Nitumie hiyo clip. So what we are lacking on the traditional marketing is that, so unless you put a number, and also if you put a number on a billboard, you're hoping that traffic stops and I have time to take out my phone and start typing. How many digits? Almost, 14? We're looking at, about 13 digits. So how good am I to be driving and typing your number? We will see later what are these things we can do to mitigate and make sure all this work around. That walks me through pros and cons of traditional marketing. I'll jump quickly to digital marketing. As we have been saying, the pros is there are more options for engagement. You have channels as social media. You can physically see what your audience think of your brand and marketing efforts. I have worked with a couple of brands that were adamant they are not going on social media. Why? They know the challenges they have in terms of the products. They know the challenges they have in terms of the service. They will not be able to handle the negative sentiments that come on social media. I've worked on a brand that every other Tuesday of the week, they sit and have something called Voice of the Consumer, where they take all the negative sentiments from social media, sift through that negative sentiment, and that is what informs them of the solution they need to work on for their consumers. So you see, these are two different mind states. One company is like, I don't want to be on social media because the negative sentiments, I can't deal with the negative sentiments. I know I have too many problems. Then another brand is like, every other Tuesday of the week, we are sitting and going through the comments on social media because they say the best place for innovation is your consumer pain points. If your consumer comes and says, you guys, mnajua yani bando tukinunua bando linaisha, alafu tunakuwa na tumebakiza bando zetu mnatuibia. Then you go like, oh, okay. So if 90% of the customer base saying that, so what if we come with a bundle that if you pay, it will only run out after you've clearly exhausted your data, your envies. As a business, it might be no one else is doing it in the market, but you're like, my customer base require that innovation. Hence, suddenly you hear bundle recharge. Because it's coming from the consumers saying, we need this. When you respond, the impact on business is tenfold.
Yeah.
And yes, you were saying?
No. I'm agreeing to what you're saying. You're very right.
And it's very easy on digital marketing to measure your campaigns. The specific of digital marketing tracking is exceptional in depth. I was working for Scanad, part of WPP Scan Group I worked there for 7 years. There was a proprietary tool called Optimus that was developed that would walk you through the whole journey of onboarding someone. When you come in, the first message, generating interest, making you make a decision, satisfaction, advocacy. They do that automated. The minute you click on something and say, my name is Reuben, I like cars. The next time you're on any website, there's an ad that follows you. The next time you're on a place that you're looking for a mortgage, there's an ad that follows you. And that the Optimus system would walk you through to the point of closing a lead. Generated automatically. You don't have to get someone. They have a set of emailer commands that will send you an email after 2 days, send you an email after a week, send you an email after 2 weeks, automated. That means that the loop, closing the loop of closing a lead becomes, it's taken from a human endeavor to a machine. Machine learnings and the depth of data that people collect. Right now, as much as people say oil is riches, right now the new oil is data. And half of the time, even in my capacity at Clouds as the Chief Creative and Strategy Officer, when we partner with technology platforms, we always insist and ask, who has proprietary rights to the database that we're creating? Because we know all through, Facebook started, there was no ads and whatnot. They were building critical mass. Once you've gotten critical mass with the data, now you start using that data to sell to people and make money. So the data and the measure of campaigns for digital campaigns are extremely deep. Then it also makes for clever targeting. I've done, we were pitching for Tusker, Tanzania, where we were doing targeted ads that every time you pass near a bar, there will be an ad that pops on your phone. So long as you've registered, ever participated in any of our activations, anytime you pass near a bar belt, there'll be ads that pop on your phone. It's time to get one, buy one, get one free. Now, imagine the level of interaction you get with the data that you have, knowing the people that buy. I can know if there's a Nancy who likes drinking a Guinness and loves to listen to Lizzo, just from the data that I get from digital marketing. Then I think I've said engagement, measurable, and targeted. Those are the prongs. Everything has a bad side. So I'll slightly tap on what are perceived to be the cons of digital marketing. It's potentially annoying. As much as we have a lot of data and we mine data and know people so well, it gets to a point you're like, okay, now this is too much. I don't want you knowing that I love basketball. You're all constantly on my YouTube. Everything that pops up is basketball. If the minute I go and search for a remedy for knee pain, now after that, all the ads that are coming, hi, this is John. He had knee pain from the time he was 20, and da, 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 da. So it gets to a point where digital marketing becomes absolutely annoying. You scroll through your Facebook homepage, and all you want to do is see what your old school friends are up to these days. Then you get dreaded sponsor ads for something related to an embarrassing ailment you Googled the night before.
Yeah.
It comes.
And just to add on that, Reuben, not just annoying, at some point it feels like you're being stalked. You know, you could even be talking about something. You know how everything is the Internet of Things and all your gadgets and technology, they're actually literally listening to you. So you could be just making stories with your phone there. Nowadays we have we have Siri, we have OK Google. Yeah. And you could say, oh, I want to go to the beach this Saturday. Yeah. And that has already been picked by your phone. And that goes to Google or whichever, technology is in there. And the next thing you see on your ads on Instagram, Facebook are hotels, beaches. You feel like, how did they know? It feels like we don't own information anymore.
It feels very intrusive at some point. You're like, okay, I know you're trying to sell, but hey, please, hold back.
Your space.
And then we know digital marketing it's less permanent as opposed to traditional marketing. Digital marketing efforts like Google Ads, banners, promo emails, or social media ads can have a fleeting temporary character. They are tangible and can easily be ignored. They're intangible and can easily be ignored. If you target audiences, keep scrolling or clicks to the next page, your ad will be gone from their screen. And I do not know how many people who choose to watch ads on, let's say, YouTube. We skip. It has to be a compelling, creative idea for you not to watch the latest, what is this guy called? He has a new song, Remy, called Soundgasm. If you're watching that song, you went to watch that song, and suddenly Be Forward or something is popping, you're clicking, next. And it gets to a point you start reporting. You report like, yeah, I've seen this ad too many times, please, I don't want to see it anymore. So that wouldn't happen with a print ad. A print ad, you see it, when you've seen it, you put it aside and move on. A radio ad, unless the radio has too many ads, you're like, yeah, listen to it. It gets to a point, yeah, I can switch off the radio until the ad breaks are over. But we need you guys to listen. to the radio ads until they're over. That's how we get paid. And the next thing is they're constantly, digital marketing is constantly evolving. You are forced to, there's a lot to learn to get most of your digital marketing efforts. There is a lot to learn. Each channel usually requires its own specialist, from search engine marketing to social media. You have to get a pro in order for you to get the best bang for your buck. However, a grassroots social media marketing strategy is a great place to start. But right now, we are told, should we learn TikTok and how brands effectively market on TikTok? How about Twitter? Is it a place you want to be, considering how vocal TOT Tanzanians on Twitter were very vocal? So if you're bringing your brand on Twitter, are you prepared for the back and forth? Are you prepared for people to mock you? Are you prepared for people to do cancel culture? Because now you've gotten me upset, you've increased your tariff, I am starting block so-and-so, break SIM card from such and such a company. Are you ready for that? And the people that are working, do they know fully how to customize the message for that platform? Or are you taking an ad and just throwing it, the same ad that you have on TV, you're throwing it on YouTube, you're throwing it on Twitter, you're throwing it on WhatsApp status, you're throwing it on Instagram? Do you customize? Are you shooting when you're in production? Are you thinking, okay, how do people view a content on IG? The phone is vertical. Am I shooting this ad to be fitting in a vertical format? Or when it goes on a vertical format, it looks compressed. I've been in situations where the director is shooting the same ad, but shooting it with two different cameras. One for traditional consumption in terms of TV, and the other is for digital consumption. And also, in terms of the quality, you know we're in Tanzania. What is the quality of our TV station? So when you're exporting your ad, what quality are you looking for? What is the overall content consumption in Tanzania? So your ad, your creative idea, how are you packaging it? So you need to know all these things. When you're doing traditional media, it's a billboard. I know the headline should not be more than 6 words. The supporting line should not be more than 12 or 13 words. I have to have a call to action, dial, call, visit. I put my, nowadays you say, put your mandatories. Kunywa pombe kupita kiasi, or nowadays you find people put all the numbers. I do not know why people do that on a billboard. You put 5 numbers, you put a fax, you put an email, you put a PO box. You're like, okay, bro, you're expecting someone will stand and go through all that? But the alternative is now, when you're on social media, the minute you land one platform, something else comes up. And you have to constantly keep yourself in the game. As a marketer, if you are now not constantly keeping up with what's happening, how is it, how people consuming, what is the potential of your brand and the exposure you get on that platform, what is the pitfalls of being on that platform, how do you put it as part of your communication strategy? What are we doing on TikTok? Are we just doing gratification? What are we doing on IG? Are we just doing functionality? What are we doing on Twitter? Are we having conversation? Does our customer care, is it on Twitter or on Facebook? If we're talking on YouTube, what content are we housing on YouTube? And how do we best tweak that content to be amongst the top 10? Because nowadays you never find an ad trending. Wasanii wetu wanaweka trending number 1, trending number 10, trending number 5. You've never seen an ad trending, meaning the content we are still looking at putting content on digital are just an ad, and people are not gravitating towards ad. I will show you as we move further along. Now we've seen the pros and cons. We know what marketing is. We know what digital marketing. We know what traditional marketing is, pros and cons. The funny thing is, I want to show you what happens globally in 60 seconds.
Reuben, sorry, there is a question here on in the chat box. This is from Lamek Machumi, and he's asking, have you had any concern with personal data issues, for instance, with the Tasker example you provided?
So the concern is mitigated because you have to opt in. If you look at most of the platforms that people get on, you're asked name, age. They would ask either for an email address, and at the bottom you have to click on do you want further communication from this our associated partners? Most of the time, if you don't click yes, you will never get those type of ads because it's intrusive and you're within your rights to actually have a sit down legally with a brand that is throwing things your way that you have not signed up for. So I hope I've answered. There is a mitigation where you allow the consumer to opt in to a service. You don't force it down their throat. And once they opt in, you go all out to maximize that opening.
And there's this, I maybe if I can expand on his question to add a little bit of my understanding, or maybe help you, ask you to help us understand, is that when, for example, when we download a new application, or you're on a new website, there's something called terms and conditions. It's as if I'm not sure if we all read the terms and conditions. I've never read them, and all we do is just click accept so that you could continue using the platform or the services you're getting from that site. Yeah. But is that also a way of them it's like a way of us giving away the right of saying, hey, I'm here, I don't care, you can use my information the way however you want it. And for some reason, the terms and conditions are really, really long. So it's very hard for a consumer. You're left with no choice to, because I need this service, or I need to do something on your platform, like immediately and now. And then here you have a long list, 2 pages, 3 pages of terms and conditions that I have to read, with implications, knowing that me giving out information could one way or another come hunting me down, later down the road. But it's a very, I would say, sensitive area. We sometimes as consumers give away our information that is going to be used, maybe to our own good or to harm us in a way, but without knowing it.
The good part is it's all in the terms and conditions. So if you truly are concerned about security, make sure every time you sign on to any app, read the terms and conditions. Even if it takes you 3 days, just take your time. There's no rush in joining a new platform. Take your time, read, and then constantly, if you're a digital savvy person, and we all are supposed to be considering where the world is going, constantly checking for news and blogs and sites that people are talking about security and the things to look out for in all these apps. Because it's there. They ask you, should we share your data? Please tick here. If you don't, please tick here. And at times when you tick those things, the performances of the apps might be different to someone else who's ticked that, you can share my information. Because they make money by virtue of getting your information and being able to sell it to a third party. Higher.
I think maybe add a bit of that before you carry on. I think there's something incognito. A lot of the web browsers that we use nowadays have that option where you kind of like go in incognito in such a way that you're blocking potential use of your data without you confirming. So you can also look into that as well, maybe as just an add-on to just make sure that your data is secure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for the question, Lamek.
Yes.
So this is what happens globally. In every 60 seconds. We've been here 68 minutes. So get how many 60 seconds are in 68 minutes. So there are all these things that are happening on the digital space. There's Twitch, emails, Tinder, tweets, Instagram, apps being downloaded, video views on YouTube, text messages being sent, logins on Facebook, Google searches, Netflix people are watching. People are spending money online in 60 seconds. There are snaps being created. There is GIFs being sent on Messenger, memes and GIFs and all that. There are messages being sent. Now, if I'm a marketer, traditional marketer, this is what is happening in 60 seconds globally. Yes, the numbers might read differently in Tanzania, but this is what actually is happening in the world. This is what we are competing up against. So if you have your print ad, someone is looking at your print ad, but in 60 seconds, All these things are bombarding him. Ametumiwa umbea kwenye WhatsApp group. Ghafla amepata notification kwenye IG, Facebook, kundi sijui la shule primary sijui wana get together. Katumiwa message ya tapeli sijui kwamba umeshinda hela fulani. That's the same person you're trying to target. Attention ile ile, you're trying to target that person. So what is the relevance of traditional marketing in the digital era, considering hawa wote waliopo kwenye hii group sasa hivi? I know as much as they're listening, they are still referring to their phones. Kuna messages zinaingia. Some of them have notification kwenye social media zinaingia. You're trying to capture the attention of these people. I'll paraphrase it like this. It calls for marketers to stop working in silos. I hope everyone gets when I say silos. You've seen the granaries. You have hili linahifadhi mahindi, hili linahifadhi mtama, hili linahifadhi mpunga, and the likes. And those three things do not see each other. They do not combine. That's how it used to be before. Whoever is doing PR for a company is a different agency. Someone doing B2B or activation is a different agency. The guys who are doing ATL, used to be called ATL Creative, is a different agency. The guys who are doing digital is a different agency, and they don't work eye to eye. They just get a communication strategy. Everyone goes to their offices, close the door, and come up with something and launch. We cannot work in silos considering where the world is going digitally and how much of our consumers' attention is being people fighting for your consumers' attention. So if you're working in silos, you're losing out. Now, if you look at this skier right here, this is probably one of Audi's cleverest ads. And it is leading us to where we have to go as marketers in this digital era. If you see her arm, the right arm, but on your picture you're seeing on the left, there is a number, AZM873. Nod your heads if you can see that number. So what Audi did is they took that's a car number plate, and put it on a skier in a competition that is being aired on TV. And the catch was the first person to spot that number and tweet gets to win that car. So you've taken traditional media where you know people are vying for the time of my consumer. As he's watching this sport, there is Twitter happening, there is Facebook happening, there's WhatsApp happening. How do I keep him engaged? I use traditional media, put an element in traditional media that he has to see and connect it to digital media. That keeps him in the loop. All of us who've been watching Game of Thrones, there was a time you're watching as you're tweeting, because they know you cannot separate the two. Right now, there's gamifying. They gamified Game of Thrones. The minute you've watched the series, you've finished, you've gone on Twitter, you've shared, then you go play the game. So holistically, traditional and digital have merged. They have become brother and sister. They are not standing as, how do I say it? Watoto wa baba, bibi mkubwa na bibi mdogo. No, they are standing as we are brother and sister, and we need to work together. Because now, when you use a unison of TV and Twitter to deliver, you can run this same campaign as a poster. I can run this as a poster, as a print ad, and still tell you, once you spotted either send to number to win X. I'm still promoting the car, but I'm not saying Audi, with the new tires and the new light. That one I can do on another platform that allows me to sell and tell a compelling story. So having shown you that the future of digital and traditional marketing is to merge somewhere and create value, what are these guiding principles for traditional and digital to work together? We must have some guiding principle that will enable us to work in a system that brings forth the fruits that we want, both for the brand and for the consumers. In this digital era, the science and art of advertising is going through a fundamental transformation. We are being challenged, left, right, and center. You're being challenged by someone who is consuming content on TikTok. So when you're coming through with your ad, it needs to either entertain me or it needs to give me social currency for me to share it. Because we share things based on one. Does it make me look smart? Does it make me look with it? Does it make me look cool? Does it make me look like I have a funny bone? Outside of that, look at the times you have shared content, either on your WhatsApp, either on your Facebook, IG, or Twitter. And I always ask marketers the same thing. Do not remove yourself from being a consumer. You consume other things. It might not be your own brand, but you consume other brands. When you share content, what are the key pillars that determine the type of content you share? There's some content that you share with your group from whatever, primary school. There's content that you share with your boys or mashosti that are your deeper circle. There's content you're going to share in the family group. The pillars that determine what type of content you share are the same pillars that people use when you're looking at advertising content. So according to eMarketer, in 2019, it was said that in US, the digital ad spend surpassed traditional ad spend for the first time, driven by mobile advertising. Therefore, as advertisers, we need to embrace digital channels. There's a need for a robust, comprehensive framework that integrates advertising across channels. You cannot leave one, go for the other, and not integrate them. The guidelines that I'm about to present are called the 4 E's. And they give you a guide on how do you bridge traditional media and on top of the art digital media. There is education, entertainment, engagement, and experience. These are not new words. All of us know what they mean. Education, entertainment, engagement, experience. Regardless of how far marketing has come from traditional to digital, the pillars on what marketing does and how to combine still remains the same. You're educating, you're entertaining, you're engaging people, and you're giving them an experience. I'll break down each individual. So when you talk about education, is that from the early days of TV advertising, business practices and advertising campaigns were product-centric. We focused on educating consumers about different features and benefits. Back then, that's what the big thing. You go on TV, you're educating people. Chagua hiki na hiki, kwa sababu hii na hii na hii, inakupa hiki na hiki na hiki, mikono haikauki, nguo zinakuwa nyeupe, tembelea duka la nini nini, done. But industries are maturing, companies are increasingly introducing services to differentiate their products, and digital technologies enable products and services that were not available before. Therefore, education continues to be an important objective of advertising. The appropriate media for education is radio, magazines, and long-form online video. But let's be clear here. Linear TV continues to be the preferred medium for high reach towards massive education. It doesn't change. So how do I incorporate TV into my media mix where I'm looking at, okay, for the bigger education that gets me top of mind, I'm on TV. How does that translate to IG? What type of education, what chunks am I breaking down from this ad? I remember, sorry that my references will keep going back either to Tigo or DSTV or some of the brands that I worked with, because I learned a lot working on those brands. When we did Chagua Tigo Pesa in Alipa, was around the presidential campaign in 2015, where Jyoti played as a political aspirant, asking people amchague because he has a manifesto. The TVC was for I won't call it TVC, the content, the launch content was a 5-minute film. It has never been done in our country, and it has not been replicated since then. It was a 5-minute film because it was playing in the space, this is a political kutangaza nia. At that time, maamuzi ya busara, tangaza nia. So even the ad, the way it was bought, the media, the way it was bought, it wasn't bought in the same traditional way because we knew we are educating. So I am taking all my media money, I am using it on the first week The first month money, I'm using it on the first week to launch simultaneously. We launched simultaneously on all the TV stations. The ad was played at the same time. So if you're tuning into Clouds, you tune into East Africa TV, you go to ITV, you go to TBC, you find the same ad playing. After the fact, we were told you should have entered it for an award. We didn't know then. We're not doing it for awards. We're just doing it to win a client. So that became the start of. So when you go to digital, we had the manifesto, the promises. So the ad aired. Immediately after the ad aired on Facebook, Twitter, and IG, we started doing the promises. One promise after the other. I promise that if you choose me to be your number one SIM and your number one MFS, for every transaction that you send, I will give you back airtime. The same manner, tone that wanasiasa wanafanya. So we already understand you have to choose. TV gives you high reach and education. And right now, the amount of Tanzanians who access information through TV and through radio, the gap is 4%. Before, it was 80% radio and you have 40% TV. Right now, we are looking at your 85s to 80. So TV is still a very, very powerful medium for brands to grow and brands to educate. When we jump onto the next thing, entertainment, another important role is to make the brand top of mind. You can't be boring. When the product or service category is mentioned, you have to be top of mind. How are you top of mind right now with the amount of amazing content that wasanii wetu wanatengeneza? We know wasanii now with their shooting videos, they are going all out. They're creating sets. They are getting the very best of cameras in here. So you as a brand, when you're going to shoot your ad on a Canon 5D camera and you're up against mtu ambaye amenunua amechukua Alexa cam or ametumia makamera makubwa, how are you competing in that space? If your product or service is not that different from the other brands in the category, then the way you communicate your benefit is the differentiator. Who remembers Jaza Ujazo? What was Jaza Ujazo? If you remember, what was it?
I think it was yeah, it was a Tigo advert. If you get, I think if you join a certain package, you get you get more of it. Yeah.
Pop up and get rewarded. So as they say, if the product is not that different in category, then the way you communicate the benefit is the differentiator. We can easily say top up and get reloaded. With every top up you make, we will give you extra XYZ. That in itself as a promise is enough. Even if I go on radio and do a live mention, is enough for people to do that because you're like, yeah, it's a freebie. But you decide, okay, since the product is not that different, I am going to use this opportunity to showcase my brand in telling stories. So it became a game show. Karibu mabibi na mabwana kwenye Jaza Ujazwe, kabla twende pokea dada umejazwa, baba umejazwa, na huko nyumbani. It became a game show, and if you are keen, even the music that was chosen is very synonymous to game show music. So while you're watching the ad, you're getting entertained. You remember the ad, you're talking about it. The name was very in between, but at the end of the day, it was just a top load and get reloaded campaign. There are many ways to entertain, but often it's about storytelling that triggers emotions like humor, compassion, or tension. So if you choose humor, you have to be all the way out there, humor. Joti has been used by Tigo over and over, and not because mtu tu alikaa aliamua. There's a science. There was a research that was done. Joti was picked by all segments up against all the celebrities that you know. The testing, Joti always comes on top in terms of how they feel about it. So when you have a product and you feel, okay, how it's not very different, I need to entertain and tell stories. Storytelling. If you guys follow a lot of ads from the Far East, Malaysia, Vietnam. They have compelling, engaging, deeply emotional ads. I have a case study of an ad in India, a format that has been running for the last 20 years. It's for wood glue. It's the same format, but you find one of those ads shows, I think if anyone has ever seen the Indian buses, where it's a bus and there's so many people who are on that bus. So they used that idea to show there was a guy in the car who had the wood glue. He was holding the wood glue like this. So you see the bus coming. It's a very short, 30 seconds. The bus comes. There's so many people crammed. It stops somewhere. A guy, you cut in. There's a guy with the wooden the packet. The minute he walks out of that bus, everything falls apart. Then they cut to the product offering, stronger than and they're done. They've used the same format for almost 20 years. They just keep rotating the scenarios. But for them, it works. And in the digital era, entertaining ads are appropriate in TV, radio, and product placement in films and TV shows. You've seen Equalizer 2 with Denzel Washington. It was a whole ad for Lyft, the Lyft service. They paid good money to shoot that because he was a Lyft driver. The whole ad, he's going to kill people. He comes back in the car. He's a Lyft driver. What more can you do if you just look at the potential of how do I use the medium? Right now, when you go to the cinemas, you have to put your phone off. You're constantly watching. So if I am in a 1.5 hour movie, my brand is constantly in your face. Watch James Bond right now. They did, I think it was Heineken. When the British guy became the James Bond, what's his name? Craig something. It was Heineken. The whole movie, I don't think he was doing the martini. He was drinking Heineken. And that product placement, they didn't need to tell you, go drink Heineken. I'll take it back. America, there was a point in time where it was illegal to advertise tobacco, cigarettes. So what the cigarette manufacturers did, they went to Hollywood. All the advertising money, they took it to Hollywood. What did they tell the Hollywood scriptwriters to do? For every scene where you have a leading man doing anything, make sure there is smoking. They're thinking up a business, they're smoking. They are in bed with their spouse, they are finishing matendo ya ndoa, there is smoking. They are going, gangsters who are about to go rob a place, they're smoking. They came later to realize they have banned smoking, but smoking has increased, quadrupled amongst the population. When they started looking at Hollywood, you're like John Wayne, constantly smoking. He's on a horse, he's smoking. They've done that to show that you don't have to be in your face for advertising to work. You just have to be smart for your advertising to work. So also in digital channels like online videos and social media where consumers seek entertainment like Instagram and Snapchat, you have to be entertaining because you are fighting content creators. So whatever content you're pushing there, I will not sitakusamehea kwa sababu you're a brand. Kwamba you give me boring content, then I'll engage with it. I will not. That is entertainment. Kuna swali kama hakuna eh?
There is one. This is from Eric Doss. And he's asking, I'm so much moved with the digital marketing, but my concern is how am I going to reach my target audience, the small scale miners at a very remote area in interior Singida, where majority of them don't get reliable internet connection? Do you think that digital marketing is so much limited to in terms of the target audience?
So I will answer when we get to the finish. The summation will answer that question. Yes.
Okay.
I will. I'll remember that. We talked about entertainment. We've talked about engagement. The beauty of social media is that it allows advertisers to deliver content to specific market segments and then watch consumers interact with the brand. A common mistake traditional advertisers or clients make is to try insert a traditional ad in social media. Reality is, unless the ad is so incredibly entertaining, people won't share a sales pitch. We know sales pitch. No one is going to share that. No one. We are all here. We've interacted with brands. You can count the number of times you've actually shared something that is too sales driven. We share entertaining content. And the onus is on marketers, us marketers, digital marketers, traditional marketers, to find the nuances that work for Tanzania in terms of what type of humor, what type of feelings, what type of scenarios work in order for us to cut across the clutter. Wasanii wetu wamejua, wasanii wetu wanawajua wa Tanzania, wanatujua vizuri kabisa. The music, the videos that they shoot, the content that they create, as much as wengine who are purists, tunalalamika, hey, but look at the numbers. It shows there's something they've discovered. It could be, it can be better, it can be polished better, it can be presented better, it can be clothed better, lakini wamegundua kitu kwenye maudhui yao na jinsi ya kuwasilisha maudhui kwa Tanzania. To improve engagement, a key best practice is to recognize that each social media platform can serve a different role. You don't have to do a one-size-fits-all. Let your digital platforms do what digital platforms do. Are they for engagement? Are they for conversation? Are they for gamification? Find that from the beginning, create content that will suit those. Instagram, for example, is about graphics and video. Great for fashion and food industries. I don't see you selling cars kikubwa hivyo on Instagram unless you have videos that really. There's a guy called, he does videos for cars. He just walks up to people and tells them, hey, cool car. What do you do for a living? How did you afford this car? I've come to learn cars through that guy. He's called Mark somebody. Through that guy. So when we are like, when a celebrity is selling a car on IG and you're just posing in the car, sitting on the hood, are you selling or you're just, what is the end game? What is the KPI actually of that communication? Is it comments? Is it reach? Or just for people to know there is brand X? So we have to know, if I'm on Twitter, it enables one too many posts and conversation. Am I in a position where I have a team to cater to the conversations that will come? Are they empowered to a level to sign off on either engaging? I have seen a lot of our digital agencies that I have an opportunity of mingling with their staff, sharing a lot of content that is done by Kenyan brands. Kenyan brands on Twitter have a very different persona. The Safaricoms, the KFCs, the Durex condoms, the KCB have a very different persona on Twitter and can actually joke and kid with each other. It's rare to see brands in our market here, Tanzania, kwamba Telco X and Telco Y having a tiff or a tiff. Remember, the only one time we did it outwardly was Vodacom and Tigo at the Makumbusho Millennium Towers. Millennium Towers used to have kuna towers ilikuwa pale, kuna street lights, adopter lights. So Tigo did ads, Voda bought zile ads za chini. Kwa hiyo whatever they were saying kwa juu, Voda was answering chini. It got to a point people had to sit and say, okay, let's stop this. We move on. Remember Hamia Airtel. Hamia Airtel, there is a blue Volkswagen. Yes, a blue Volkswagen parts. A lot of people come out of the Volkswagen. They enter into the red bus and it goes. We have rarely seen playfulness like that. But on social media, a lot of brands, if you go back to, is it Burger King and Whooper, they have played this game, Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they play these games on a global scale. So if your digital team has a brand persona. They understand our brand on Twitter. What is our voice? What words do we use? What tonation do we have? It allows them to still have that campaign, but tweak it in a way that works for Twitter. Twitter, kama mpo Twitter mnajua hata kiongozi akija pale akileta za kuleta anapewa za uso. Like watu wakuweki, yani people don't really TOT is fun. I wish more brands would play on Twitter. It's fun.
I want
so,
that with I think with the last point you've said on knowing your target audience, there's also what we call audience persona. So your target audience could be young people, but the personality of these young people is also different. So for example, on Instagram, the persona of young people on Instagram is totally different from the personality or the persona of young people on Twitter. So that as well, depending on your brand voice and the message that you want to convey and how you want it to be received, it could help you, curate your content in a way that fits best to which persona of the target audience you want to reach out to, you want your brand to speak to. So for Instagram, for instance, it could be, it's more of a flashy platform, quick updates, nothing too critical, serious, fun, something casual, superficial, but you want to drive it, conversation, a discussion, a breakdown, analysis. You want critical thinkers. Same young people are found on Twitter. Yeah. So even your brand messaging and campaigns as well, it shifts and changes depending on the personality of your target audience.
Yeah, and I think maybe to add on that, on Instagram, I think a lot of people use Instagram more of like a bait. So you see a post and it has like a link, like click here, it will lead you to a website or it will lead you to something else where now you'd get more engaged. So you do not want to, you want to use it as a tool to like kind of like hook them, create that hook first and then lead them to a place where you'd want them to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a question from Mayure. Would you say building a relationship with audience is also key part of marketing? Most definitely. So you have your the buyer's journey. You have your awareness, consideration, decision, adoption, and advocacy. On your awareness, you're just trying to make them know I'm there. Reuben is here. Hey. Consideration is, hey, would you want to be friends? I play basketball. I write poetry. I can play the guitar. You start saying qualities about you that make someone go like, yeah, okay, I'm also a basketball player. I like poetry. Cool. Then decision is where you're driving conversation. Now you're driving conversations. You're like, okay, cool. So we are going to play spiders on Sunday. Cool. You'll be there. Make sure you come with yellow top. I'll have a yellow top so that we look like a team. Then you go to adoption. It's delight customers. You have to delight your customers for them to constantly come back. So we go play. You come play basketball. I carried an extra bottle of water, perhaps. I gave you an extra bottle of water. You're like, oh, okay. This guy is thoughtful. Wouldn't mind coming to play basketball next weekend. Then advocacy. Now you have to go like, yo, by the way, I met a guy called Reuben the other day. We went to play basketball at Spiders. Yeah, that guy is cool. Yeah, it's cool. You should go. We should go next time. Yeah, imagine, he gave me a bottle of water, like in Dar, someone to bring you a bottle of water. So it's that. The relationship you're building now is that end, the advocacy. You're getting someone to go and convert other people. Na kwenye soko letu kwa bahati nzuri, word of mouth is really, really popular, strong, and a very key component of the relationships and conversion that people are doing. In terms of advocacy, the relationship you're building, you must have active customer influencers. So the relationship you're building with Reuben is because your friend John has already had an interaction with Reuben and has come to tell you, by the way, that's a stand-up guy. The minute John tells you, hey, I'm not sure. Yeah, you're saying he's a cool guy. I've interacted with him once. I'll hold my comments. You try for yourself. You always come in with apprehension. So creating relationship with the audience is a must because the marketing dynamic and the loop is constantly, you have to do a constant recycle. After I go to advocacy, I'll get 20 people. I go back again to awareness. I'm trying to get 1,000 people. So if I only have 20, I have to go back again, circle up, awareness, consideration, decision, adoption, advocacy, keep going back. So I hope, Mayura.
Yeah, Mayura.
I hope I've
Reuben, I
answered
think
you.
also, since we're also running out of time, let's finish your presentation and then we can make a general discussion on the questions in the end.
Okay, so the last bit before we go to finalize
Yeah.
is experience. Yeah. The next generation of advertising techniques will leverage digital technologies that bring education, entertainment, and engagement together in the form of an immersive experience. Technology allows for projections, animations, live action elements, and immersive technology to deliver a multisensory experience meant to be captured and shared on social media. Has anyone heard of the Great Wildebeest Migration? So Brand Kenya was able to do a Great Wildebeest Migration on Times Square using holograms to promote tourism in Kenya. So people are in Times Square and suddenly they start seeing manyumbu yanapita using 3D projection, and then the billboards are connected with Brand Kenya and giving a website where you can go get the information. We've seen places where you go into, in Dubai, you go into an exhibition and you can smell the forest. You can smell the forest, you can feel the humidity of the forest, you can share as if you're in a forest. So right now we are getting to a space where technology is using all our sensory organs to give us an experience that you capture and share on social media that sparks something in your head. Because we all remember our mothers used to wear, back then, they used to wear a certain perfume. Or anyone who has ever been heartbroken. If you pass somewhere and smell the perfume of whoever broke your heart, you start feeling the same feelings you had back then. That's the power when you put all the sensory organs together and use it effectively for advertising. And that is where we are going. When developing your campaign, the question you ask yourself is not what media should I advertise on? And that's the question the gentleman asked about miners in the remote parts of Tanzania. It's not what media should I advertise on, but rather which of the 4 E's work better to communicate my brand's message. Educating, engagement, entertaining, experience. These guys in the miners in Chunya, for instance, of these 4 E's, which one will communicate my brand's message easier? Am I educating them? Do I want entertainment? Is it engagement? Is it experience? Once you've realized that, so if I say experience, definitely it informs me what type of tools I will use to give them an experience. If it's education, it will inform me, okay, do I really need to be on, to push digital IG? Probably digital is also using the phone. Probably all I need is customized SMS messaging that starts off with Reuben. Hi Reuben, hivi unajua kwamba ikitokea upo kwenye mgodi na ajali ikatokea, right now Ndege Insurance will cover you to XYZ. It's just that. Because we might think you need a digital post, you need radio. No, you're like, okay, I have a database of 1,000 miners. These are the 1,000 miners that I need to convert. If I just convert 10% and they pay X amount, month on month, this is how much money I'm making for the company. So what is the cost of a blast SMS as opposed to radio? Okay, these miners, which point do they really consume information? Who do they believe most? I'm like, okay, I need to be on ITV News. I need to be on Power Breakfast. So I just need to do an interview to get my message out there. I need to be on news currently to be top of mind, but my main way to get to them will just be an SMS blast because they have their phones and I know how to trigger them to get them to call a number. Because if I'm selling insurance, I'm not selling it to you firsthand. We must have conversations. We must have conversations. So all I want you to do is either one, get me your number, get me your email address. so that I can start the conversation, this road that we were talking about. Let me just pull that up. I'm about to finish. Don't worry, Nancy. I'm about to finish.
Meanwhile, let me give some comments. So some people, yeah, you've read the question from Mayur, and Joshua added to it and said, and what tricks are they to building a relationship? Okay, I think this was an addition to Mayur's question. Would you say building a relationship with your audience is also a key part of marketing? And what tricks are they to use? Are there to building a relationship? And then Mayur also asked, how can you sustain it? And Flaviana says, I love Twitter, my favorite platform, although it always gets me in trouble. Twitter is a very tricky space. But Mayur also made a point of awareness stage, consideration stage, and decision stage. And then yes, we have also Lamek Machumi saying, I understand time may not be on our side, but would like to hear your thoughts on digital marketing for non-consumer products, e.g. behavior change. Yeah. So just those are the questions and comments we have.
That's a good question. I'll answer that as soon as I finish. What now? We've done all this. The four is, so what happens now for us moving forward, traditional and digital? So we've known that it works. I've shown you the Audi. It works. Integration, content, customization works. What you're seeing here is a chart that shows the traditional and digital components and what happens when you integrate, adapt, and customize content tailored to the channel. So let's say you have a print ad. How many of you know QR codes? So I have a print ad with a QR code that leads me to a website, that leads me to a coupon, that leads me to a downloadable file that has a song, has a video. I'm integrating. The recall becomes higher because I am using a technological advancement on a traditional form of media to market in this digital space. For outdoor, for instance, you're using outdoor. How about giving a hashtag instead of a number, or a social media handle instead of putting a telephone number, a landline, and all these other things, or just an emailer that gets me to where I need to go? If you're doing online displays, how about doing redeemable coupons that you can download and go redeem at the store? You get? So if I'm doing radio right now, how do I do an ad because I know the target audience, for instance, that love music? How am I doing the jingle, the behavioral change jingle that's running on radio? If they Shazam that, it pops up a link that leads me to a video that talks about either getting tested or gender-based violence or learning, seeking for consent before hugging, touching, or doing any of these things. How do we mold technology, use the spaces that we have, and advance to spaces that would get us more interaction and more one-on-one team? You're doing TV right now. Instead of just people on their phones away, how do I gamify the TV experience watching? That if you're watching a football match at 15 minutes into the game, I'll pop up a coupon that if you enter on my website, you win X amount. Because I know there are people who are watching soccer because they love soccer, and there are people who are watching soccer because they're around people who are watching soccer. So how do I gamify the viewing experience? Hata kama ni tamthilia. How do I say at this point as a pop-up that if you load that, scan it, it sends you to a video that the lead actor in that particular point is talking about how hard it was to act that particular scene. That is looking farther into how do I look at a holistic representation of what we have and break it down to the channels, use them to their effectiveness to make me arrive at the initial need that my consumers have. I am not just going into the market and advertising for the sake of advertising. Because as the question asked, how do we use digital marketing for behavioral change? You remember Sugar, the series? They were doing behavioral change, but they decided, okay, people are consuming matamthilia, my series. We will create a series that is talking about the same thing that would go on a radio ad, that would go on a radio interview, but consume differently. So right about now, the challenge is to not think brand first, is to think consumer first. Where do I meet these consumers? And what of the 4 E's will enable me to get to them? Then craft a communication strategy based off that. If it's entertainment, through the whole gauntlet of entertainment, what can I do on Twitter to be entertaining? Do I do polls? Do I do Twitter Space? Right now we have a Clubhouse. Clubhouse has taken over. Does it give opportunities for brands to have longer conversations? If I'm doing sexual behavioral change, and I've come to realize, there's a project that we had pitched and we are working on, where there are a lot of married men that are sleeping with men in Tanzania. As much as we think it's a foreign thing, it's ATL because we see it on TV in Atlanta, but it seems there's an uptick of men who are married, leaving town, Dar es Salaam, when they go up country for whatever trips that they're doing, they are sleeping with other men. Now, saying it, I see the shock on your faces, but if I'm having a behavioral change, which platform would allow me to have that conversation and not scare people off? Is it radio? Is it Twitter? Or is it a podcast? Because that's content that needs someone to be in a sober mind to consume. So if I start it off the way I just said it, for further details, if you want to participate, please catch our podcast. It's on Spotify, it's on Boomplay, it's da, da, da. The people who want the content would gravitate towards the content. So it's just finding pockets of how do you tailor make between educating, engaging, entertaining, and an experience, and circling back and saying, okay, I want to educate them. How best do I use the traditional platform and the digital platform to get there? I say all that to summarize: without a powerful, single-minded message and creative idea, no matter the media, your marketing initiative, and in generally your brand will just be noise in the cluttered consumer mind. Thank you for your time. Asanteni sana. Naomba niangalie kama kuna mtu ambaye hajafika.
Mic drop. Yeah, we have Mayur saying, honestly, such an eye-opener. Joshua says, thank you, Reuben, for your time and knowledge. You have got me thinking. And Flaviana says, thank you, Reuben. Ramek says, thank you, powerful. Let me see if there was a question that was posed and is unaddressed.
Yeah, and for those who are still with us, please don't feel shy. Just drop a question, drop a comment, let us know how you felt about the presentation. Tell us. We want to hear from you. We want to ask Lucas, Eric, anyone. Feel free. Just drop in there your thoughts, your expressions, your questions.
Planet. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Flaviana, Lamek, Mayura, Joshua. Asanteni sana for your time and for your kind words. Imenipa nguvu ya kuomba tena session nyingine. Eric Dos, asante sana. Asante sana, Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we always look at marketing as just a way of a business blasting, sales messages to the consumer. But there is a story to it, and especially now that we're in the digital era, consumers' minds are changing. They're demanding more personalized information, customized experience where they feel like this is speaking to me. Why should I engage with your brand or your business? What is unique to your brand or your business, because like you said, digitally we are blasted with so much information from different brands. We walk, past the streets, so many billboards, so many TV and radio ads that are going. What's that unique niche that will drive me to your brand? So it is very important. I think those key 4 elements that you spoke about, the principles: education, entertainment, engagement, and experience, putting them together and finding a way for them to speak to your target consumers or audience will make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
It's a learning process. Allow ourselves to constantly learn, allow ourselves to reach out to people who know more, allow ourselves to be open to learning new things, new platform, new ways. But at the end of the day, if we keep the consumer at the head, not what you want to do as a brand, the consumer, because I've been taught as a business, you are solving a consumer problem. So if you say the consumer has this problem X, how do I solve it as a brand? Is by introducing product Y. Good. Now, how do I communicate this product to this same consumer for them to cut across all that clutter and still remember and go through the process of awareness, deciding all the way to deciding that you're partnering, to advocacy, and circling back and constantly getting feedback. Opening channels of feedback constantly as a brand. If whatever channels you're using, make sure you have a channel that allows constant feedback from your consumer. Because trust you me, they will tell you immediately if an ad is not working, if a radio ad is not working, if a mention is not working, if your IG post and content is not working. We shy away from hearing the truth from our consumers. I don't know why you are presenting something to someone and you don't want them to tell you the truth. Like, yeah, no, tangazo baya bana. I've written an ad where I was so sure this is the award-winning ad and everything. And when it went for consumer understanding, the guys said, it doesn't make sense. Why is this guy swimming across the Kigamboni hapa anaogelea kwenda upande wa pili? Kwa nini sasa? Pale pana maji marefu, anaweza kuzama. You're thinking creatively that, oh, imagine shooting, kamera inaingia chini ya maji, anaogelea, karuka, kuna muziki, then slow motion, ametoka pale anajiinua. No, the consumer is like, no, there's no way unaruka kwenye maji pale. Kwanza kuna polisi. So I have learned a lot by, when we write as creatives, we write for other creatives. When sometimes marketers do, you're doing it for the other brand that is your competition. But when you're doing it for your consumer, you're always grounded on the truth. And the truth is what will drive your campaigns.
Very true, Reuben. Consumers are smart. They're learned these days. Remember, they have a lot of information on their fingertips. They can quickly go and check, reference your website, or whatever information you're bombarding. It's so many people have been named and shamed on social media for giving out wrong information or wrong facts. So don't. I think don't. The only challenge I see with traditional marketing, sticking to only one approach of marketing, is that you don't get real-time feedback and like the honest truth from your customers. You don't hear their voice because you're only giving out, but you're not receiving. But if you combine the two approaches, digital marketing and traditional marketing, you're able to give out information on a traditional platform, but also get feedback, collect views and opinions from a digital platform. So that way you're able to, create something that is experiential to your customer and more targeted and more personalized, and this customer or consumer feels like you've heard them and this product or your brand is something worth for them to try. So I think it's very key. We have a question here from Rehema Bashir, and she says, I like your question. What now? Do you have a hint on what we can start with the information we have right now to start implementing these ideas?
The simple one would be this one. You should not ask, what media should I advertise on? But rather, which of the four E's work better to communicate my brand's message? Then you develop your media mix accordingly. It's not what channel, should I be on TV, should I be, no. At this particular point, do I want to educate, entertain, engage, or give them an experience? Once you say it's an experience, then it will force you to work on the experience part. And if it's an experience, what is it answering to? So let's say a case in point right now, I remember, let's say a club had an incident where, I don't know, peppermint was sprayed in the business environment, and people decide, I'm not going back to that club. So what the problem is, people left because they feel the place is not safe. You can go and start talking about hujuma kwa watu, sijui nini nini, but if I'm your consumer, all I care about at that particular point, assure me the measures that you've put to show me when I come to your premise, I am safe. So you have to go to education, maybe at the same time mix it with a bit of experience. So if I merge those two things together, am I creating a party? Am I going on radio? Am I creating a visual content that shows now we have checks at the gate, checks here, checks there, checks there, that when someone sees it, they're like, oh, okay, I've seen the post, I've seen the video, I've seen the invite on my email that says it's happening this Friday. Forget about pepper treatment. The only pepper you're going to have is on a T-bone steak. Da, 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 da. Now I am in a position where you're not talking about vitu ambavyo they don't make sense to me. I don't care about the peripheral. As your consumer, I only care when I come to spend my money, I'm safe. So it's going through that gauntlet of understanding what exactly is my consumer needing right now. How am I solving that need? And what pillar am I using to solve that need? I hope that almost gets you closer, Mayur.
Yeah, I think that was from Rehema. Yeah, we have lots of good comments here appreciating your presentation.
Thank you.
But unfortunately, due to time, we might have to end here. Maybe Reuben, you could reach out. You could tell us how someone can reach out. Probably now, consult you for these marketing ideas, how to brand their businesses, and etc. etc. How can they reach you?
Okay, so in my day job, I am the Chief Creative and Strategy Officer at Clouds Media Group. On my night shift, I am the creative partner for a small advertising agency called Studio Life. I with my partners, Wilfred Magoti, who is here, and Asungushem Tetemela. So reach out at Reuben Ndege, rndege@gmail.com, or rndege@studiolife.com, or for anything radio related and media related, please reach out to me at rndege@cloudsmedia.co.
Okay,
So you choose. If you think you want to be on the radio beats, you want to come and talk about radio and how you could use radio and TV, it's rndege@cloudsmedia.co. If you want to talk to me, you have a brand that you want to communication strategy, you want digital strategy, you want activation strategy, you want to work, it's rndege@gmail.com or rndege@studiolife.com.
Okay.
Wilfred, I hope I got emails. I don't know if it's .co or .tz or .com. Wilfred, please correct me if I got the email right for Studio Life.
Wilfred, feel free to type into the chat box. Yeah.
Oh, Reuben, sorry.
So yes,
for my business.
Personally, people see that on the chat right now. We've included the emails there for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Reuben. This was insightful. I think there's a very big, chunk of information and knowledge that we've all gained and learned today. It's such an honor. For those of you who are new to Empower, we are a human consulting firm. We're disruptive. We try and bring creative and new ways of thinking. We want to nurture growth mindsets, which is why we organize platforms such as this for creatives, for experts to talk about, different areas of their expertise. And so for all of us to, learn and grasp and grow together and to build businesses and help the community in general. So Karibuni Sana Empower. We are at Tanzanite Park, 9th floor. And stay tuned. Look at our social media. watch out. We always have this next month. I mean, this end of the month of July, we will have Aiden Eyakuze. He's the executive director of Twaweza on another insightful, exciting Empower Academy. We have posters up and running already. You can check out more information and how you can sign up. So thank you, Reuben, for your time, and for everyone who took the time to join us today. It's such an honor and a privilege to host you. And thank you so much for your comments and questions. Please, if you have anything, Reuben has shared his email handle. Please reach out to him, reach out to Empower, and we will assist you. Asanteni sana. I have nothing more to add. Reuben, anything you want to leave for the audience that are here?
Constantly just try, constantly learning, reading, searching for knowledge, constantly. It will keep you on top of your game. It will always make things easier. If you're constantly hungry for knowledge, whether it's in marketing, whether it's the speaker that's coming up next week, you might think it's out of your field, but just the knowledge, you never know when you might need that knowledge. So thank you for the opportunity. This is my second speaking engagement. And from what I've felt here, I promise I will do more. So if you ever need me for any other in relation to creative, media, I'm at your service.
Sure. Thank you so much, Reuben. And if you're a writer, Reuben, yourself, if you're a writer and you want to share more of your ideas on marketing, we have a platform called The Movement, where different experts write, expert articles or just their views and thoughts on different areas in their business fields or in life. And yeah, we have an audience of readers who go there every day to draw knowledge and inspiration. So you can visit our website, www.empower.co.tz, and go to a page called The Movement. You can write your article and share, or you could just go there to read different articles written by different people. So I think we should sign out now. I know it's Saturday. We don't want to take much of your time. Flaviana, you could be next. Thank you so much for joining. We'll reach out to you to see how we can plan for the next Empower Academy or an engagement session with you. And everyone who was here, thank you so much for joining. Feel free to leave or network and interact in the room. We're going to leave it open for a few more minutes before we end this session. So yeah, thank you.
Hi. Thank you.